Hello, YouTubers, friends, compatriots, bootlickers, shills, debt slaves, serfs, peasants, vassals, minions, meat sacks, emailers. I'm Useful Idiot. Welcome. And today I want to talk about the good old USA and the not so good USA, in this case, with a Clinton email. And this story is a couple weeks old now, and maybe even a month old, but it's important, and I wanted to cover it in spite of the fact that it's old news. And that's this Clinton email that shows that Google is working with the U.S. government to overthrow the Assad regime and supporting regime change. And so I have a real problem with that. This is an example of how closely these corporations and the U.S. government and foreign policy and war all go together. And this story exemplifies that, and why I want to do this video on it. In this 2012 email between Clinton officials and Jared Cohen, head of Google's Ideas division, they discuss a new tool that's going to help facilitate regime change in Syria. And the plan was to give this tool secretly to Middle East media, especially Al Jazeera, and then it would be broadcast back into Syria. So an interesting tool indeed. The quote from the email is from Google, and he says that, quote, "Please keep close hold, but my team is planning to launch a tool that will publicly track and map the defections in Syria and which parts of the government they are coming from. Our logic behind this is that nobody is visually representing and mapping the defections, which we believe are important in encouraging moves to more defections and giving confidence to the opposition," unquote. What a shocking thing to read. Once again, I say this is a member of a private corporation that ostensibly has nothing to do with the U.S. government, ostensibly has nothing to do with foreign policy, ostensibly has nothing to do with the military-industrial complex, and yet they're involved in developing tools for the government to facilitate regime change. And not only that, it's clear from this email that they have a particular political and geopolitical viewpoint because they believe, quote, they believe are important, encouraging more to defect, unquote. So very disturbing. And not only that, it gets worse because this shows the revolving door between the United States government and corporations, and the symbiotic relationship between corporations, the government, and our foreign policies, particularly involving war, because it turns out that this guy Jared Cohen worked on Hillary Clinton's policy planning staff from 2006 and 2010. So he was working in the government, in the State Department with Hillary Clinton, and then gets tapped by Google, a private corporation, and then is still working with Hillary Clinton and government officials to facilitate regime change in Syria. And he'd already been indicated before, when he was working with Hillary Clinton, was already indicated in using social media for incitement in a lot of the Arab Spring events back in 2010, 2011. And so anyway, just wanted to point that out to anyone who's missed this story, that it's a very small story, but very, very disturbing to see this. And I suffer no illusion. I know that Google, who says they don't do evil, are fully immersed in evil now and working with the government, and have been. They work with the government on surveillance programs, and now it turns out they work with the government in developing tools for regime change in the world too. I'm a useful idiot. Don't you be one too.